morning, America. My name is Kelly Hirschspieler, and I will be reporting to you about the 2018-2019 Hospitality Days, where I served as finance chair. First thing I did was in the fall, I asked each chair to write down exactly what they expected to be spending money on during the next year. And then I created a budget, which each year we get $10,000 to work with. And what I advise you to do is to allocate a lot of the money towards the DCMP chair and the food and beverage chair, which is what we'll be needing a lot of. And especially in the fall, you'll be spending a lot of money on food and bev because you are taking recruiters out at least once a week, probably, to different restaurants where you'll have to be using your food and beverage. And then next thing, I created an Excel sheet for each chair, and I wrote down exactly what their budget was, and then every single expense that was spent, I made sure to write that in, just so you know exactly how much of the budget you have been spending. And then lastly, make sure to get close to Ryan Quick. He is the accountant for the Hospitality Days. Be respectable. He's very nice if you're just nice to him. And then something I would probably do differently was with the recruiter gifts. This year we decided that we'd wait till the end of the year or the end of the semester to send out recruiter gifts. We decided that was not the best idea because we were going to specialize each recruiter gift to the person that brought in, but we ended up buying glasses that broke in the mail when we sent it to them. So my advice to you would be just to give the recruiter gift to them exactly when they come. So that's all I have to say about the fall. And back to you, Kelly. Thank you, Kelly. I'm here with Riley, who is on the finance committee this year for the Hospitality Days. So Riley, what was your overall experience?
Well, thanks for having me, Kelly. My overall experience was great. You were a phenomenal chair to work with. So pretty much like what we did as a finance committee was we broke into like 2 or 3, like we each got a chair to communicate their budget with, which I think worked well because like we got to focus on like one budget for like one committee ourselves, but also sometimes communication was a little hard between chairs, especially when they're having a hard time staying in their budget, and like we don't know to be like, oh yeah, well I can give you more money because it's not like our responsibility to give them more money. But overall, like it was great. I think the spreadsheets worked out really well. It was a good way to keep track of everyone's finances for all the committees. So even if they weren't my committee, I could still see, or like my chair, I could still see what they were spending. The event I think went well. It was kind of hard because like we didn't have a lot to do as a finance team on that day. But it was still fun to see it from like a committee perspective.
Perfect. All right. And what is something that you would change for the following years for the Hospitality Days?
I think I would get the finance committee more involved in the fall. We only really became involved in January when the class started. But like I know that you took on a lot of responsibility by yourself in the fall, and like we already knew that we were on the finance committee, so like I think as soon as we find out like what committee we're on, like we could start meeting just as a team, so we can maybe like start communicating with chairs sooner and stuff like that, so they kind of already know like what our role is going to be.
Okay, perfect. And what is something you would keep for next year?
As a student perspective, I really thought that it was great that the students didn't have to pay for Hospitality Days this year. I don't think that we should pay for our like career fairs, like the business school doesn't pay for theirs, and like education doesn't pay for theirs. And I think it really just like increases student involvement, knowing that that's like a resource that we're providing for free for them.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Riley.
Thanks, Kelly.
Well, breaking news, the finance committee is breaking it down.
That I like more than checks. Money. All I really wanna see is the money. I don't really need a D, I need the money. All I got bands in the coop. Touch me, I'll shoot.
Good luck in 2019-2020 finance chair. And this is Kelly signing off.